What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. Welcome to another episode for Classic Albums Revisited, which is a segment that I do on this channel for me to review any album that is an all-time favourite, and this one is going to be extremely exciting for me. I have made a few tribute videos from the past on my channel, and one of them was Ray Thomas from this legendary band. I did make a promise to review the album in honour of him, and since that we have lost more of the people from the classic lineup of the Moody Blues, now with Mike Pinder, who passed away a few weeks ago, I thought I would want to do this review in my big dedication to the band. Today I'm going to be reviewing the band's second studio album, entitled Days of Future Past. This album was released in the month of November in the year of 1967. Out of all of the progressive rock albums that I have always admired, whenever I would want to listen to them, Days of Future Past is always one of my top 5 albums in the genre. Of course, we always love the other albums from the different bands. Pink Floyd, King Crimson, Yes, to Jethro Tull, and any other progressive rock act. But Days of Future Past is a really special record. It's a special record as it was heavily known as one of the beginning albums to give birth and shape-shift a growing, impactful artistic genre that is progressive rock. With second albums, sometimes they can be hard to follow, but with others, second albums can be as well received and as awarding, and sometimes they could be better than the first. And Days of Future Past is one of those albums that is so much stronger in terms of the direction of a band and the style of songwriting, production, concept, and this whole big vision that a band like the Moody Blues have done. This is totally different to what they had done from the first album. Days of Future Past is a concept album. Peter Knight conducted with the London Festival Orchestra for this album. And I will have to say, if it weren't for Peter Knight and the whole orchestra, Days of Future Past would have been a totally different album. It would. Because every time I listen to this album, from start to finish, this is just not only a masterpiece, not only one of the greatest albums of all time. This album holds a very special place for me. Progressive rock was a new genre to me when I was discovering it. I did discover Wish You Were Here, To Close to the Edge, In the Court of the Crimson King, and Aqualung. But when I heard Days of Future Past, this album is like no other album in the genre that I have ever listened to. That's how much this album holds a very big deal for me. I do think it is a tremendous experience. The more I will be listening to this album, I will always never ever get sick and tired of it. If you haven't heard of this album, guys, do yourselves a favour, go look it up on YouTube and play it. For the first time, listen to the album with your headphones. Not only my favourite Moody Blues album, but it is one of the crowning achievements from the decade of the 1960s. And this album came out the same year as the other albums from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, the Velvet Underground and Nico, Jefferson Airplane, the Beatles. I mean, what a year for incredible music. Days of Future Past is a huge recommendation from me to you for anyone who wants to discover this record. John Lodge, one of the band members of the band, said that it would be a concept album tracking a day in the life of every man, with original songs relating to different parts of the day, performed in chronological order, introduced and interspersed with orchestral music. And if that does not interest you at all, just give the album a shot, because with progressive rock being so artsy-fartsy, but still one of my favourite genres of all time, being so separate, different, creative, and so huge to what I would usually listen to, this album is a must listen. The album opens with the track The Day Begins. The slow fade in comes and introduces the reverse sound of the gong, and the whole orchestra after that is sublime and magical, with a ton of interaction, and expresses the beginning of the day as soon as you hear the whole orchestra play through, with Peter Knight's perfectionism of his own skills to work with the London Festival Orchestra for the studio work with the band. Violins that sound smooth, trumpets to trombones with connection, flute to piano, and every other piece of sound from the orchestra brightens the mood, and they anticipate this perfect introduction to start the album. The instrumentation is always one of the most beautiful pieces of music to begin any album, and to me this is like one of those giving birth moments to open a bigger form of musical art in so many ways and details. The spoken word part of Morning Glory after the day begins is intriguing and poetic, with a lot of description, and this does make it so interesting. The cold-hearted orb lyric refers to the moon and our eyes. The colours were changing between black and white at night. We see different colours as they change from the transition of the night to the day, and we see the colours changing that reflects our moods and thoughts. The pinprick holes lyric is maybe a reference to the stars in the black sky, hence the colourless sky part. There's the difference of light and darkness from night changing to day in metaphorical meanings. The nighttime lyric is considered a brief interval to rejuvenate and enjoy the day. For others, though, they have a fear of solitude, which expresses loneliness. Also, it shows the shades of grey state of mind. Brave Helios lyric. Helios is personification of the sun and spirited horses to bring the day. After this whole introduction, we go to the dawn section. Dawn is a feeling. The song was sung by Justin Hayward and the bridge was sung by Mike Pinder. The minor keyed sound of the verses sounds so gentle and comfortable, from the tapping drums and the Hammond organ with bass and the piano together touches the soul of the performance as well. A change of expression and mood after the beginning of the album, but it continues to find more rich new sounds with every single listen, along with the rest of the album. The bigger imagination is still growing within the heart of the album's progressive continuation. Dawn is a period of the day, and the word feeling makes it deeper and meaningful. Beautiful Ceiling is referencing the previous song from the Pinprick Holes lyric, and it implies the sky is an object and something closer than infinity. So the Beautiful Ceiling lyric on this song makes that part sense. The day is a metaphor for life, and the dawn is metaphorically meaning early childhood. Days feel longer as children than us as adults, which is a powerful thing to think about. The looking around and things astound you lyrics are metaphors about an experience of seeing everything for the first time, and also says it's not a dream because all of it is completely real. You want today to last as long as you want. On the last two sets of lyrics on the bridge section, Mike addressed the thought of things becoming clearer with a meaning that will be clear and ready to be absorbing the new day, thoughts and new experiences. The last verse is heavily showing the meaning of understanding and enlightenment, to find happiness, the thought of finding these experiences, to feel the optimism and the beginning to have a feeling of joy. The morning, another morning. I love the orchestration that beautifully plays along with, again, happiness, and hearing the marching beat through these simple changes of chords, and the vocals are delayed while the backing vocal harmonies complement the positive mood. Brilliant melody, and the poppy style continues to grow as the interaction from the orchestra and the band continue. Ray Thomas's vocals were spot on this song. The last instrumental part makes me think of Christmas, weirdly. The lyrics are very simple as they tell the different experiences of kids playing around in the eyes of the adult narration. Lunch break, peak hour. John Lodge, the band's bassist, wrote this rock and roll upbeat part of the song. The first half is with, again, the London Festival Orchestra, and what I love about the music from them on this track is the whole connection. As I listen to the musicians playing along together, from the strings to the bass, the bells, the drums, and everything else. Then after their turn, the Moody Blues come in immediately. The track is excellent, so effective, full on energy. I think, at least in my opinion and interpretation, the whole set of lyrics on this track are maybe based on the duration of doing work, duration of the day that's going on fast, and there's a set of like mind control happening at the same time. The song is like to me like a psychedelic pop rock type of tone. Afternoon, Forever Afternoon, although people would point out the song is called Tuesday Afternoon. Justin Hayward wrote the first half and John Lodge wrote the second half of Evening Time to Get Away. Forever Afternoon or Tuesday Afternoon is just perfection. It's one of my most favourite Moody Blues songs ever. One of the highlights across the whole record. It's great, melodically, folk pop balladry, and later on I do like the bouncy piano section after the gentle melodic performances from the acoustic playing, and then switching things up to this super fun, tight rhythmic section. The mellotron sounds wonderful. It makes the music sound ominous, but as just terrific. It's one of my favourite tracks on the album, pretty much since the first time I have heard this record, timeless, as well as with the rest of the band, with their high effort. The evening part of this track comes in with the 12-string guitar and the piano. It sounds mysterious, and then changes to a pop type of style. The harmonies were terrific, and they open this composition up. Some more complexity in the songwriting, and there's a lot of sharing for the vocals as you hear the difference of tone from the vocal registers, from the cleans to the harmonies, and then the falsetto head voice. The lyrics to this song show the beginning of the moment when the day is going to pass, and you see the fading into the sunset, the burdens of the day, or to find your activity of choice at night. This is the transitional part of the day and the album, between the day and the night, and you continue to move on before the day ends. Now we go to the evening section. Evening, the sunset/twilight time. The orchestra begins the setting of the sun going down, and it's like they are making an imaginary picture when I listen to this instrumentation. The percussion is like a tribal experimental choice. Mike Pinder wrote it and considered it the most psychedelic track, and I would have to agree with that. Perfect arrangement from the whole simplicity. The Twilight Time is the last track on this evening part. It is absolutely exciting, and it makes you feel like you want the joy to never end and the activity to remain before the end of the day. Time between dawn and sunrise, or sunset and dusk. Again, it's returning the mellow and upbeat nature of the sound of the band. Then we go to the final pieces of composition work and songwriting genius. The Night section. Nights in White Satin / Late Lament. Out of all of the tracks the Moody Blues have created, this masterpiece of a song is one of the best closing tracks to finalize a prog album. Nights in White Satin is as recognizable, it's beloved and highly praised from the moment it was released. And it was released as a single, just like with Tuesday Afternoon. Justin wrote Night in White Satin when he was 19, which is insane because it is as iconic, and it makes us think that tracks like this one still remain as a huge experiencing, journey-making piece of music. The song is full of top-notch presentation as well. According to Justin, its title was written after a girlfriend at the time gave him a gift of satin bed sheets. Justin wrote it as a tale of yearning of love from afar. So it's like a song of unrequited love. It's a powerful one. The vocals were outstanding, and the 12-string guitar matches the feel, and everyone matched the whole thing perfectly. Late Lament, returning back to the orchestra for the very last time, finishing the whole album off with their turn for the music, and it completes the album in an ultimate climax with beauty, just like from the start of the record with The Day Begins. They return back to the same sounds for the spoken word poetry. It makes an explosive finish, and the final sound that you guys hear is the gong cymbal being hit, and the sound goes on, fades away. Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues, a quintessential listening. I know that I have talked about my own admiration for the record earlier in the review, but I just cannot recommend this album enough for any music fan. Not just with fans who love prog, but if you want to get into this record, digest it, and let me know what you think of it. For those of you who have heard of the album, please address it in the comments down below. That's personally all I would like to say about Days of Future Past, the legendary second studio album from the Birmingham-based The Moody Blues. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.